Hello and welcome to Podcast Attitude episode 5. I'm one of your hosts, Metin Ismail. Who's with me?
I guess I'm the other host, the co-host. I'm Marcus Stewart.
And that's it for this week.
All right, see you next week.
See you,
Thanks for
bye.
listening.
Yeah, Marcus. So, how are you? What have you been up to?
I have been dandy. I've been a busy boy.
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot of games as usual. I finally finished Assassin's Creed.
Ooh,
I finally wrapped that up. I'm
nice.
still not totally sure what happened in it, but outside of the love story, I'm a little confused as to like the overarching story. But it's okay. But
I think I lost it at Assassin's Creed 2.
oh Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it just made no sense after that.
Yeah,
Absolutely
well,
no sense.
the series really jumped the shark after the end of the third one in terms of the modern day stuff. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I've been playing. I'm still playing Bloodborne. Still doing good at that. I've started Hotline Miami 2, and I think I'm getting towards the end of that. Playing Box Boy, which, by the way, if you haven't played Box Boy, you should play it, and you should read my article on the site saying why you should play Box Boy. I'm getting into my custom long list of games. I'm playing Broken Age Act 2 right now. I'm playing. I started playing The Room on my phone. Now that I've got a new Android phone that can run The Room.
Ooh, so, nice. What did you get?
I got a Samsung Galaxy something.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I got it for free.
I think that that's a good one. That is a something.
That's what I've heard. Because my old phone, my service provider suddenly decided they weren't going to support it anymore. So they sent me a text saying, hey, you need to come trade your phone in for a new phone. So I literally walked into the store and I was like, hey, how does this work? And they're like, okay, you get to choose from these 4 phones. And I just kind of stared because since a phone is neither a game console or a wrestler, I didn't know what I was looking at. So I just asked the guy, like, so what's your recommendation? And he's just like, I go over to Samsung. It's the best. And I was like, I believe you. It's free anyway, so I'm not paying anything. But yeah. So yeah, I'm playing The Room, and last but not least, I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat X.
Oh, nice. And just before we started, I stated that I haven't played it yet, but that doesn't mean I'm not interested in it or I'm not going to play it. It's just
that means that you hate Mortal Kombat.
No, I love Mortal Kombat. Not as much as I like Street Fighter, but yeah, I do. I might like it, but I'm going to get it, and it looks awesome. I played it just like once or twice, not twice. And yeah, it does.
What do you think of it?
Well, I think it plays really well, but I don't know. They've just every time I play Mortal Kombat, it's just when I play the game, I'm just like, oh yes, I love this setting, and you know the way they glorify all the limbs ripping apart and killing each other. Just gruesome kills.
They've gotten really gruesome with this one.
And and it just fits in really well, and it feels like a solid game. But again, I haven't played it, extensively to compare it to anything else. But yeah, I like it so far. What do you think?
I'm loving it. I've completed the story mode a while ago. Story mode, they really went for it. They did it in MK9, like the big story with like the cutscenes and stuff like that. They nailed that. They nailed Injustice's storyline.
That's exactly what I was going to... that was one of the reasons I wanted to bring up Mortal Kombat 2 is... Mortal Kombat X. It was because I really think... I was really interested in what they're going to do next after Injustice, because Injustice was the first fighting game, like one-on-one fighting game that I thought that was really good story mode-wise. They nailed it, and I was really interested. And it's not just because I'm a comic book fan. It was just it was really good.
Yeah, they got this one. This one did a great job of like not even just the production values. Like it starts off with this big helicopter fight with like Scorpion and Sub-Zero and like Johnny Cage. It's awesome, and but also it does a good job of kind of throwing you into like the 25-year later setting, kind of seeing where a lot of the classic characters are kind of at. And it also does a great job of getting you to know the new characters. You spend a lot of time playing with like the new special forces. I call them the Teen Titans because that's basically what they are. They're the Mortal Kombat Teen Titans. And yeah, just getting a sense of their personalities and their histories. Kotal Khan, Devora, getting to play them. I'm a big fan of a lot of the new fighters already. Like I love Cassie Cage, I love Devora, I love Aaron Black, who is the greatest new character of all time because he's just by default of being a cowboy that is in Mortal Kombat. That's like he's literally John Marston if he was a Mortal Kombat character, and it's the best thing ever. But
What's that character? The one with that I keep forgetting his name. The one well, that big guy with the baby on his back. Well, I know it's not a
oh,
baby, but I just like to think it's a baby because it sounds
oh,
cool.
Master Blaster or no, not Master Blaster. He's pretty much Master Blaster from Thunderdome or
Hmm.
whatever. But
Yep, yep.
Ferrator.
That's
Did you know
right.
that Johnny Cage actually makes a Master Blaster reference if you fight with put him against Ferrator?
No way.
Yeah, he does. I think he straight up calls Ferrator Master Blaster,
Ah,
which is
look at them.
hilarious. Yeah, but yeah, the story's a lot of fun. It's nice and long. The ending is pretty crazy, or at least the post credits ending. But just the fighting itself, like they brought back the or not brought back, well, they sort of did. They like the 3D games had those the three fighting styles like in Deception and Deadly Alliance stuff, and they brought that back but made it different. Whereas in the 3D games, you could switch between those on the fly during fights,
Hmm.
and this one, you pick one from the start, and all of them are pretty distinct from each other, and it adds a lot of depth to the just to battle in general of just having three different kinds of like scorpions to choose from,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
like one that's more projectile based or movement based or defensive based, and just have being able to kind of like play like pit the appropriate type against another person's type, like because it just changes the way you look at your opponent, where you see like, okay, he picked this kind of reptile, maybe I should pick this kind of Melina
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
combat that, whatever. Just a lot more thought it goes into it, and all the styles are really balanced and fun. I have some that are my favorites, but yeah, I don't really have a complaint about any of them. And I love how they've incorporated a lot of the stuff that they've done in Injustice with like adding the interactive stage
Yep.
hazards. You could throw an old lady at somebody,
I think I
or
saw a video of someone playing, and there was one like with it's like a port, seaport, and like this tentacle or monsters in the sea, and it comes out, and you've got like a corpse on the end of it, and I think you can grab it and chuck it or something like that. I'm not sure. That's what I thought
yeah,
I
what it
saw
is
anyway.
that it's like this big storm. Yeah, like there's this big storm going on in the background, and occasionally a corpse will just wash up and pop up for
Yeah,
like a few seconds before falling into water. So like during like the second that it's in the air, if you're by it, you can grab it and throw it at somebody,
yeah, yeah. I
which is
like that
just pretty cool.
because I liked
But
I liked grabbing the pigs. I think it was like a pig that was hanging up in Injustice.
mhm.
And me and my cousin will just chuck that thing at each other until one of us gets hit and then start attacking each other.
Yeah, I love that they've incorporated those, and I also love that they've gone crazy with even just the context sensitive conversations.
Hmm.
Where like I like literally every pairing, no matter who you do, has at least probably like two like unique things they'll say to each other. Like they don't just say random things to each other. Like they all say something directed to that fighter,
Yeah, yeah,
which God knows how much dialogue that was to record for every character. But I just love little touches like that, and even just in some of the moves. Like one of my favorites is Aaron Black's X-ray attack, where he shoots this bullet through your skeleton. It just ricochets through different parts of your body. But like when he shoots, you get a close up of the bullet, and the bullet has the fighter's name carved into it of whoever you're fighting.
ah, no
Like every
way.
time, even
Yeah.
when you're even when you're fighting another Aaron Black, it just says me carved
Oh
into it, which is
shit.
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, even when you pit the same fighters against each other, they'll say something unique to each other that references that. Like, what is this? Another
yeah.
one? But so it's a little touch, but I love little things like
Of
that.
course,
And
it makes it interesting.
yeah, it's just little extra work that really they probably could have not done it. And nobody would have bat an eyelid at it. But yeah, and they've added the probably the big thing is like just that persistent online mode with like the different factions you can choose, and the faction wars that go out, like everything you do in the game adds points to whatever faction you have, and then there's all these different towers that you can play through that update over time, like living towers, and like there's like a daily tower, there's a hourly tower, a weekly tower, and each one's unique. Like maybe one that's like has like poison, where like as you progress you're losing more health, you and your opponent at the same time. Or there's one that's like I think one is like based on MK9, where you only fight like the fighters that appeared in MK9, and just different little themes to them. And it's cool because it kind of gives you incentive to keep logging in every day, because you'll check and see like, oh, there's a faction invasion. Well, if you do this, this, and this, you'll get double coins.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so like let me go do maybe this. Let's see what towers are up, and maybe I'll do this one and run through it and see how much I get.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want all that stuff so you can go into the crypt, which has been completely revamped from what it was. Where now the crypt is almost like its own game.
But do I remember correctly? You can actually buy everything in the crypt and unlock it all.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can do that in the other games too. Though this game,
No, with real money. Like, because you buy coins and unlock everything.
Oh, can you? I think you can, but I'm not sure. They do. I know you can buy like. I think there are packs. Like I know you can buy like fatalities with real money.
That's okay. That's okay because that doesn't break the game, does it? It's just an easy fatality.
Yeah, that's like if you just don't have the skill or the patience to do a fatality, and you just want to like, do it.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want to pay for that, that's up for you. It's completely optional, so can't really complain about that.
Here we go. Look, on the UK store, £15.99. Mortal Kombat unlock all crypt items. That's a bit shit, but yeah.
I guess if that's just if you just do not feel like doing anything to earn coins, and you just want all the stuff in there like to unlock. But I mean that's a lot of the incentive for doing all this stuff, because there's there's so much stuff in there, like more brutalities, more fatalities, costumes.
That's another thing. Brutalities are back.
And yeah, and they're still really hard to do. I've always sucked at brutality since like MK3, so. But it's cool because like fatalities are awesome, but I like that brutalities are still difficult. I feel like fatalities have gotten easier. One, because they're in the menu and you can just look at where they are. Before, you had to like get a cheat code or a book to see what you actually have to do.
Mm-hmm. And Jason.
Or just unlock it. But brutality, yeah, and Jason. But now brutality is like you can't just do them. Like you have to fulfill a very specific condition during the fight. Like hit uppercut this guy 5 times, and on the final hit you got to do a fireball and kill him with that, while standing midway across from the screen or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's you have to do all that and keep it in mind during the fight. I've only done a couple so far, but and I think every character has like 3 or 4 brutalities.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Again, because I haven't played it, I haven't actually looked how many they have, but there's shit tons of them.
Yeah, and I love a lot of the new fatalities. Like I said, a lot of the new fatalities are genuinely like gross and just gruesome. Like, oh man, probably my favorite one so far is Cassie Cage's selfie fatality.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, that one is just hysterical. Just all the little like if you haven't seen it, she like breaks a dude's jaw and just brutalizes him, and then poses and takes a selfie with him and posts them on like this social networking site, and then underneath all you see is like just scrolling updates or comments from like people, like other fighters and just random people just like, oh my god, just react to it, and it goes on for a good while. Like you're just sitting there with the menu on and you're just watching every new comment pop up, and it's hysterical how long it goes. But yeah, like this game, one thing I've always liked about MK is that they not only have a lot of stuff or a lot of content in each of their games, but they do a good job of kind of mixing it up. They always kind of throw something new at you. This one's no exception. Like I said, with all the towers and the persistent online mode, the game still plays wonderfully. This is probably my favorite batch of new characters, probably ever since like maybe Deadly Alliance.
Ooh.
Whereas like none of the new characters feel tacked on or kind of like meh. You know, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of yeah. They got to a point where they're adding a lot of people that I just did not care about, like Serena or like Darius or whoever. And I'm probably getting hate from like the two fans that like those characters, but yeah, like you know what I mean. Like you're just like, oh, why is this guy even here? Whereas like a lot of the new characters they added now, they have a lot of thought to them. They fit right in with the lore. One thing I will say that I thought was hysterical is that, like I said, like the new Special Forces Teen Titan kids, like you get to know them really well, but it's almost to a fault because they're so kind of they're so they're just like I said, like they're so Teen Titany where they're funny and they're always like they're making one-liners during like the most dire situations and just having these like emotional moments like, oh, friendship, we gotta pull it through together, and da 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 da. But it's almost jarring to see them do fatalities. 'Cause they do not give the impression of someone that would just kill someone as brutally and as creatively as they do. Where you see like Jacqueline Bridge,
Yeah,
just
it's like
yeah, like
it's like watching Dave Chappelle rip someone's head off.
yeah, like you're watching like Starfire just pull someone's spine out of their body.
But then I think you've got a bit more shock factor there. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're like, whoa, okay, wasn't expecting
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Even though they've
It's
got
almost
brutal, fatalities, but
yeah, it's almost weird. Though I guess you can make the argument of like, well, would you expect Johnny Cage to do something like that? But they get a pass just because they came in an era where you didn't really know their personality outside of like the little paragraph in the box. So they didn't talk or anything. So you just kind of went with it.
hmm
And now it's like, oh no, you're like Kung Jin. No, I can't see you doing that, man. It's
yeah,
like you'll kill someone, but you won't kill someone like that, or whatever. But
yeah.
yeah,
So, what other games do you want to talk about? Or any other topics? Anything happening in the industry or any games you want to talk about?
we got a lot of comebacks coming out this year. We talked about the new Rock Band the last podcast, but
Yeah,
we got a new Guitar Hero coming.
yeah.
Guitar Hero Live,
hmm
live action,
Which I've
the best
seen,
the best
and
graphics.
I tell you what, I watched. Let me see. I watched a video on YouTube of them playing the game, and the way it was showing how when you play bad, the crowd reacts, and when you're playing good, they cheer you on, and it's all seamless, and it looks really good, and they're hopefully just focusing on guitar.
What do you think of that? Like the
Sorry.
whole live crowd. What do you think of that? Like the whole
Oh,
live action,
I like it.
like,
I like
act-
it. I
like, like
really.
you
From
don't think it's
what.
kind of cheesy a little bit,
No,
or
no, 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 no. That's when I first started watching it, I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. And then when I saw how, because you're the guitarist, you walk around the stage and you go up to the front row and you see them and you lean down and then you go back and you look at the drummer and the drummer's like shaking his head with disappointment when you're doing bad, and when you're doing that really well, they're like cheering you on and smiling and having a good time, which I thought was good, because don't forget, you're not really going to be looking at that when you're playing the game, are you?
no, you are.
No,
That's the game.
you're going to be actually looking at the buttons you need to be pressing.
Oh, well,
So it just adds to the the experience. I
I guess it's
liked
fair.
it, and then and I like the fact that when you're going to start the song, you actually walk out through the back, and then the people like saying to you like good luck and patting you on the back and high fiving you, and you walk out onto the stage. It's that's probably why they called it live, because it is, and it really feels. And even though I was just watching it, it looked like it was, it's going to feel really good. I'm definitely
Yeah,
going to play it just off the bat. That's one thing I'm definitely going to be buying.
I'm gonna play it. Man, it's $100 like default because of
Uh,
that. Because you can't use the old guitar because they redesigned the guitar with the to kind of match, or at least be closer to what a real guitar is now, where it's got like the two rows
yeah, well,
and stuff.
as
So,
someone that
but
plays the guitar, I would say that it's nowhere near the real guitar. But I
it's
liked,
it's closer
yeah,
than I guess the five
but what
buttons.
I did like about it was they've actually changed it up, and apparently the people that have played it have given that good feedback, saying, yeah, it's different, but it still feels familiar at the same time. So if you've played it before, you're not going to be bored just playing new games with a new setting of, the live crowd and stuff. But, it brings, a whole new level of difficulty to it once you start ramping it up.
All right. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Which one are you more excited for, Rock Band or Guitar Hero?
I like, to be honest, so far, Guitar Hero Live. But saying that, I've always been a Rock Band fan, so I'm excited to see what they're going to bring, because I haven't really seen a lot, as much as I have at least, of Guitar Hero. I've seen more Guitar Hero than I have Rock Band.
Yeah, there has been more. I guess because it's and I'm kind of in the Rock Band camp too. Like, I like Guitar Hero. Obviously started with Guitar Hero, but just I've always liked Rock Band. Obviously for the full band experience, but also because the soundtrack just became so robust. But we don't know much about it other than you can use your old instruments, and it's going to be pretty much going to be more Rock Band, like more of what you like. Whereas Guitar Hero, it's more intriguing just because it's trying something new. Whether or not it works out.
I'm going to confess something right now. Mm-hmm. I played Rock Band, but I never played it as a band. I always played it just with the guitar.
Why don't you just play Guitar Hero then?
Well, because I liked the songs more on Rock Band, because Guitar Hero started that Aerosmith and the AC/DC and blah blah blah. They're all good. I played them all, but I liked the content of Rock Band much better.
That's true. I don't blame you for that. I know a lot of people think they're similar, but I actually preferred Rock Band's guitar.
Oh yeah,
guitar.
And
I don't know what it was, but the buttons felt tighter, or I don't know what it was. It just it clicked better to me. As weird as that
I found the Rock Band guitar to be a bit more plasticky, right? But what was good about the Rock Band guitar was I liked the size of it and the shape of it, and the fact that I could play Guitar Hero with it, whereas the Guitar Hero one I couldn't play Rock Band. So it just saved me from buying more stuff or switching it around.
Yeah. But so we got two of those to look forward to this year. Yeah. It's crazy how there's just suddenly music games are back, just out of nowhere. A new Rock Band, new Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I said it last time as well. I'm happy they're back. I think if they'd stayed away for too long, people would have not been excited for it. Whereas it's died down. The plastic instrument thing was getting out of hand, but I think they've come back at the right time where it's died down, but people were still interested in seeing what's going to come next.
Yeah, give people time to recover from just the crash of just having way too many. Mostly Guitar Hero having. But,
and again, I like the fact that what they're aiming to do with, I suppose both sides are going to be doing, is it's going to be a hub where they're going to bring one out, and they're just going to keep on adding to it and adding to it and adding to it, because that's probably the best way to do it. I've said that before, even before they announced anything. I was like, one game, just keep on giving me content. I don't need graphic updates. I don't need guitar updates or anything. Just give me more content and I'll be fine.
Yeah, Guitar Hero's gonna have DLC where they add new crowds to the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be you can play
different venues and stuff.
Yeah, you can play in front of the Woodstock '70s.
Wow.
Crowd.
I can't wait. I can't wait for
that's
this.
Not true.
You just shot me in the face. Well, I wouldn't put it past them. I would not put it past them.
I mean, I'm not saying hysterical if they did that.
Well, no. Do you know what? I think that would be a legit selling point.
You could play in front of a high school gym.
I'm telling you now. I think that would be a selling point for DLC.
It doesn't even have to be band crowds, just any crowd. I want to play in front of the Monday Night Raw crowd.
Why not? And then that would be fucking awesome. Imagine if you're playing at WrestleMania.
You would just get booed constantly. It'd be hilarious if they were realistic, because you would just get booed because wrestling fans hate live performances from
Yeah.
musical groups generally because it's taking away from like the wrestling. So yeah, like just do that and just have the crowd just shit on you the entire time, no matter how good you're playing.
Well, I've got to admit, when I'm watching WrestleMania live, I do get a bit pissed off when they keep on like singing and singing and singing. I'm like, shut up, give me some more
Oh yeah,
wrestling.
like a WrestleMania 25 with the ridiculous Kid Rock medley that went on for like ever.
Well, I think it wasn't this WrestleMania. It was the previous WrestleMania. I think.
No, that was this year.
No, no,
They didn't
no,
have
no, no. I mean, not this one. The previous one.
third.
A Divas match got cancelled. Right? It got because they didn't have enough time. So
No. It wasn't last year. It was 29.
Well,
They canceled it because they had what's his face perform P Diddy.
was it?
Yeah, they were gonna have like a tag team. It was gonna be like the Funkadactyls and
And
Brodus against like the Rhodes Scholars, I think it was.
But I remember
And
one.
another
The
diva.
Bellas got cut. I think it was last year. Not this year, but last year. I think the Bellas got cut.
No. I remember last year because last year they didn't do anything like
No, I'm
music.
not saying no. I'm not saying it was because of the music, but it got cut because they didn't have enough time. One of the matches went on for too long. So,
I can't remember a Divas match.
well,
I'm sorry, everyone. We're
I'm-
segueing to wrestling.
Yeah, we totally lose it when we start talking about wrestling. But yeah,
Yeah, it's a podcast.
all right. Here's a secret. I think. Well, I don't think I actually remember it because I watched Total Divas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that Total Divas episode, it was for WrestleMania 29. I remember
Oh,
because
okay.
they were all happy. It was 29 because that's what they had the P Diddy performance, and they were all happy backstage. And then the guy came in and was like, "Oh, you guys are having a match."
Okay, yeah,
It was
the
supposed to be
Bellas.
right
I think it was
before
the Bellas.
Yeah, it was supposed to be right before the main event, and that's why the main event started so awkwardly because it was like John Cena and The Rock, and there was like no video package. Like Cena just kind of came out. You're just like, so it just felt like something was missing, and then you realize later, like, oh yeah, there was supposed to be another match. Yeah. So now that we got the wrestling out of our system,
Yeah. Well, we needed that because we didn't talk pre-podcast about wrestling, so
yeah,
just got that out of the way as well.
If it's not Metal Gear, it's wrestling. But,
Oh, here we go with the Metal Gear. So
Silent Hills got canceled.
oh, before we get to Silent Hills, give us our weekly Metal Gear fix.
Metal Gear 5 is still happening. It's coming out. It's still happening, guys. It's coming out in September. And there's going to be a dog with an eye patch who should be the box cover. It should just be him on the box with his eye patch.
Yeah.
Prominently. Like everyone else can be kind of in the background, but he should be the biggest thing on the box.
And they should
'Cause
do
he's
an
gonna be
interview
on
with
something.
him and then put it online before the game comes out. Interview the dog
They should.
with the
They
eye
should.
patch.
They should have a collector's edition that comes with a dog, like a live dog with an eye patch.
Yeah.
Like you have to pick up the game from your local shelter.
Oh my god.
It'll be there waiting for you.
Oh my god. Oh, they could do a robot version of him because we've got Claptrap, didn't we?
That's true. So they have to top that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
So they have a live dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't break.
But wait a minute. Will they make the dog actually need the eye patch before you pick him up, or it's just going to be a
Gouge
preference?
his eye out.
Yeah. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. We're going to get a lot of shit for that. But yeah. I tried to keep it PG for that one.
It's like you're suggesting that the shelter's gonna gouge the dog's eye out before they give
Yeah,
it to you.
obviously, no one would pick that up. But yeah, that would.
As long, it depends on whether or not you decide to look under the eye patch when you get the dog.
Oh my god.
If you want to see if it really does need it or not. Or maybe they'll just only find dogs that are already blind in one eye. Like they only find handicapped dogs.
Yeah, and or you could if you're gonna. Well, but let's do it the other way. Let's make it a bit more sensitive. If you're gonna pick up a blind dog, you get Metal Gear 5 with it.
Oh, like you don't even know that you're getting the game. Like you just
Yeah, it's
you're just genuinely being a good person, and you're rewarded with this
Exactly.
copy of a video game that you may or may not even know about or want
And
to play. It's yours.
and the console of your choice to play it on.
Oh man! And then Ty from Extreme Home Makeover shows up and reveals that he built your own like mother base in the middle of the ocean somewhere, and it's all yours, and you can parachute soldiers into there, stuff like that. Fulton recovery system. That's how you get there. He Fulton recovers you to your new mother base.
Well, we stay true to the Metal Gear spirit with that talk. So let's move on before we totally derail the podcast. So yeah, let's hit Silent Hills.
I'm very, very sad about Silent Hills. Though I believe Tom, I mean, the writing was on the wall. It wasn't a surprise, but it still sucked. I really want it. I would go on record as to saying, as much as I love Metal Gear and I'm super psyched for Phantom Pain, I would be less disappointed if Phantom Pain had gotten canceled and Silent Hills was still happening.
Ooh.
That's how much I loved PT. I thought PT was legitimately one of the scariest games I've ever played in my life. Probably one of the scariest experiences in my life. Like I play a lot of horror games, and that game really got me. And
correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not I'm not 100% sure, but from what I gathered, the game was going to be nothing to do with PT. I don't think it wasn't going to be even first person.
Right? I don't care.
It was just the setting and what they could do with like the graphics engine, the sound, and the people that were on the team. I think it was just a showcase of that and saying, look, this is a taste of what we're going to be bringing you. It's not going to be the game. Is that what it was? Because
I remember reading that
it was going to be a third person. I would have assumed third person.
And I might be wrong, and someone can correct me on this. Feel free, but I remember reading somewhere where they hadn't nailed down the perspective, and that they were toying with maybe doing both, like certain sections being third person and some being first person.
Mm-hmm.
But they, because the development had, like, early full development had never started on the game. So they were still conceptualizing a lot of stuff, but that was one of the ideas I heard they were toying with, was just shifting between both.
Okay, because I did feel that first person made it a bit more jumpy, because it was in your face, obviously.
Yeah, like first person, it's inherently more scary because it's not Norman Reedus that's being attacked, it's you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's just more
Paul
personal.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah, you see Norman Reedus get attacked all the time on Walking Dead, so it's nothing new. But
he was in The Walking Dead. Was it that survival game?
Yeah, he was in there. I didn't play that game. I know his likeness was used. I don't know if he actually voiced it.
I think he did. Him and his co-host brother. I think they were both in the game.
Oh, okay. I don't watch The Walking Dead, by the way, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were both in the game. Yeah, it was a big disappointment. But there you go. Shit happens.
Silent Hills, one of probably, as far as 2016, definitely in my top 5 most anticipated games. I really, really wanted that. So I'm really sad. And now PT is officially gone from the PlayStation Store. So if you did not get PT, then you're screwed pretty much. Because you can't re-download it. So
there you go.
You have to keep it on your hard drive.
Okay, so I've lost it because what I done was to open up space, because I download most of my games. Not that I needed to delete that game, but I wasn't going to pay it. I deleted it, but I thought to myself, I can always download it again later on. So I've missed that opportunity then, have I?
You could probably get some good money if you have the game. Maybe you can copy it to a hard drive and sell it on eBay for hundreds of dollars. It's probably officially a collector's item now.
Well, I think there's the day that it was announced that you're not going to be able to download it anymore, they were selling PlayStations on eBay with it in there.
Do you need to sell the whole console? Can't you just, like I said, copy it to a drive and sell the drive itself?
Well, not everyone can do that. Not everyone can swap drives and stuff, and it just makes it more interesting for people. Yeah, here's a PlayStation, and to try and justify the thousands of dollars they were asking for.
It's like, can you at least make it a PT themed console where you can paint the PT logo over the shiny part of the PS4 or something.
There you go. People who have PT on their PlayStations, go out, customize it with decals or custom paint jobs, and then put it on eBay, get more money.
Yeah, I want to put a crying fetus.
And you can send Marcus his cut.
exactly, because you owe me. You could put a really complex puzzle on the surface, and the game won't like the system won't boot up unless you figure out how to spell they. I can hear them screaming from hell on it or something.
Okay.
You have to collect all the scraps, and then the console will turn off.
And then you have to, on it is going to be a sensor where you have to drop virgin's blood on it.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to conduct a pagan blood ritual.
Yeah.
Or something.
No need to sacrifice one. Just get a couple drops of blood.
Exactly. From a refrigerator that's hanging in your foyer.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. There's probably someone out there that has that in there.
If someone has a bloody refrigerator hanging in their house somewhere,
Well,
who doesn't?
I wouldn't put it past the people of Earth.
It's a common decoration. But
Yeah, it is sad, But then, so now we've got Kojima on his own, probably.
oh, well, not quite yet, but almost. Once Metal Gear 5 comes out,
Yeah, but he's free
set
to
free.
to start brainstorming stuff, probably, and Del Toro's pulled out as well, or was released, whatever. So maybe these two are going to get together and go to a publisher, get funded by them and put out another game.
maybe Del Toro can actually release a game.
Oh, the curse of Del Toro. Maybe Kojima.
He's 0-2 right now.
Kojima-san, if you're listening to the podcast, which I know you're not, but if you know him and you're listening to the podcast, tell him to not bring along Del Toro because he's going to curse the game. Just
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Del
just go
Toro's-
solo. You're good on your own. You can pull it off. We've seen it many times before.
Yeah, it's like maybe you might want to. If you're wondering what's the problem, you might want to look to your right. Maybe Del Toro's that. Yeah, you might want to ex-nay the El Toro A.
Yes. Change his name. It might work.
Yeah, it's a little game called Insane that we never got to see.
Yeah.
Now we'll never get to see Silent Hills. So
Which is
maybe
sad.
they'll
Really,
make
it is. It's really sad. To be honest, it's sad because that's like Silent Hill is probably. I think Thomas went on record saying that it's his favorite, franchise of all time.
So I'm sure he took the news very well that new one was being canceled. I'm sure he was totally okay with it.
He's probably devastated. That's probably why he's not on the podcast this week. Yeah. So yeah, no.
He's
Thomas,
talking to a bloody bag in a dark room.
yeah. Or the refrigerator that's hanging above his foyer.
It's having an existential crisis in front of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
But they did say that that this wasn't the end of Silent Hills as a franchise. There are going to be new Silent Hill games.
Wait. Konami actually announced this.
Yeah, they said it in the same statement that they said that Silent Hills was canceled. That there will continue to make Silent Hill games. So the franchise isn't dead. It's just that this particular project is dead. So there's going to be more Silent Hill. So it's great if you're a Silent Hill fan. It's a little bittersweet because it's not like the series was firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, true.
Before the cancellation. So,
True. But it was promising. It looked like they were going to turn it around.
Yeah, that's what makes this suck. That's what makes it more disheartening. Is it's like it took Kojima to step in to kind of deliver a new Silent Hill game that seemed like it was going to be the next big thing since Silent Hill 3. So,
but then
to go back to what
wasn't it Konami that announced when Kojima, they said they're parting ways with Kojima, they said that Silent Hill, the project, is going to carry on. I'm sure they went on record and said that.
They said that, but that was just the initial, because that was one of the first questions was what's going to happen to Silent Hills.
And they could have said no comment, haven't made up our minds yet. And then
I think they just kind of said no, it's going to happen. And maybe it was going to happen. And then something else happened and then it got canceled.
Well, I think you lose a lot of players' confidence towards you when you keep coming out with shit that they don't want to hear, like
Yeah.
lies.
Plus, I don't think people would. Maybe they knew it was going to continue, but they didn't want to like deal out two devastating blows at once. Like I was like, oh, not only is Kojima leaving, but no Silent Hills too.
Well,
Like maybe try
come
to
on,
space those
it's not.
apart.
But
You
come on,
know?
it's not like no one was going to talk about it. Millions and millions of people tweeted and posted and whatever. There was hundreds and thousands probably of articles about it. So it's not like they were saving themselves from criticism. I think I don't know. It was a bit weird. I don't know why they said that. Again, they might have planned they might have actually planned to carry on with the project, and then Del Toro said, "Oh, do you know what? If he's not in, I'm not in."
Yeah, it could have been that. It could have been all just waiting for Del Toro. So,
Or the team
but,
says, "Do you know what? If that guy's gone, we're going with him."
yeah, if he goes, we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unfortunate that that's all unraveled and is now.
Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine it? Could you imagine this? They announce, I don't know, Mario Galaxy 3, and then we were waiting for that to come out, and then Miyamoto says, "Oh, do you know what, guys? I'm retiring, or I'm just parting ways." And then they say, "Oh, do you know what? We don't know if we're ever going to make another Mario game again."
Yeah, though they totally would.
Oh,
They
no, of
probably-
course they would. I'm sure that most of the games he just has a look at, just to make sure.
Yeah, like Zelda is pretty much IG Inuma's franchise now. Like
Yeah.
Miyamoto just kind of oversees development, but it's Inuma's baby and has been for 15 years now.
Hmm.
So
But yeah, again, it's sad to see him go from leave them franchises behind. But I'm sure I'm pretty positive that he's gonna when he's back on the scene making games, which I think he is going to be very soon. He's going to do something new and fresh, which we're going to be excited about.
would anyone else die of laughter if he goes the Inafune route and starts his own kind of indie company? And after saying for years that he doesn't want to be known as the Metal Gear guy and that he doesn't want that just
Makes
be
a
his
clone.
legacy, that he just made like a spiritual success, like a mighty number 9 of Metal Gear, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's not Metal Gear, it's I don't know, Steel Cog
Yeah.
or something. Steel
Yeah.
Cog. And
Wooden
they're
cog.
playing a solid Cobra. And he's like, yeah, it's what you love about that other series that I used to be affiliated with, but coming straight from the source.
Yeah. Well,
It's on Kicks. It's
it
on
depends.
Kickstarter.
It depends. If Konami don't, you know, d- deliver on that end with like Silent Hills and Metal Gear, then I would want him to do it because I've been dying for a new Mega Man game, and you know they're just not giving it to us.
Yep. So, but the difference is that Konami has said that they're going to keep making Metal Gears, whereas Capcom has been quiet about
Well,
Mega
again,
Man. So,
you know, again, I'm repeating myself, but they said that they're carrying on with Silent Hill, so I don't trust them.
no, they'll do Metal Gear. Metal Gear's like, what else? What else is their like big franchise? Like, what is paying the bills at Konami?
What's
Like,
paying the
think
bills?
about it, like,
what pays
like,
the
what
bill that Konami is vending machines and slot machines and those kind of things. That's what pays the bills at Konami.
But I mean, like in terms of like games,
No,
like think about
again-
all their big franchises. Like, what's left?
Exactly,
A lot
that's
of
what
their
I'm
big
saying.
ones aren't around anymore,
Well,
or have been quiet for a while.
That's what I'm worried about because they don't depend on games to fund their company apparently. So they're not afraid of walking away from franchises. So I would be very upset, but it wouldn't surprise me if they walk away from both of them. Seriously. But
I feel like
if they're going to walk away from it, sell the rights. You know, sell the rights.
Oh no, they would never do that.
Well, I hope Konami
Because
says,
that's a guaranteed, like, sell Metal Gear, like, because that's, even if they never make one, that's a guaranteed cash cow. Like, if they ever needed money, they'd be like, we'll just make a new Metal Gear, and they have instant, like, millions, because that series is so
oh,
popular.
look, Capcom with Mega Man, you know, all right, they get royalties for stuff when Mega Man's used in other games or, you know, whatever they use it for. But, you know, they could still do that, license it
But-
out.
but Capcom's in way better shape because they have other franchises that are huge. Like they have Street Fighter and Dead Rising and Devil May Cry. Like they
Oh
they
no, I
actually
get it. Yeah,
have like a roster to fall back on. Whereas like
no, I get it. I get that. But I'm saying, it's not like Mega Man was a one-hit wonder. Mega Man was it for a long, long time, and they just
Mhm.
walked away from it. Again, if you're not going to sell the rights, which again, okay, I admit that would be probably a stupid idea, but license it out. Go and say to another company, and a dev
oh
team,
like dude,
who wants to do this? I'm sure a lot of people would love to do a Mega Man,
that's true. Like
and
do
a
like
lot of people
like
would
what
put
they
it
did with
off.
Devil. Yeah, like they did with Devil May Cry. Like just give it to someone else, or like what Retro has with Metroid and
Dude, I
stuff,
could
or
think
Donkey
of,
Kong.
off the bat, I could think of at least 5 indie um, devs that would take that game on and fucking just go mental with it, and people would
Just
love
give
it.
I'd say just give it to Retro. That seems to be their MO.
Mhm.
Take
Mhm.
take
Yeah.
franchises that Nintendo isn't particularly interested in making a new game of and just let them do it. I mean, they nailed Metroid Prime, they nailed Donkey Kong Country.
But there
So
you
yeah,
go. There you go.
give them Mega Man. Yeah. Who knows? Or give it to Way Forward. They're another studio that likes resurrecting dead things.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, so
but you know what's not dead? That's coming back. Do we have time? Do we have time to talk about this?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna segue into something else, but you've already beat me to it. Go for it.
Yeah, my segue's better.
And I
So,
liked your segue.
thank you. I like it too. But new Tony Hawk coming
See,
back,
that
and it's not some ridiculous gimmicky board peripheral thing, and it's not a mediocre HD remake. It's a brand new numbered entry of Pro Skater 5. No subtitle, no whatever. It's just straight up, this is Pro Skater 5. This is going to be what you loved about those games in the late 90s and early 2000s,
hmm
but with new stuff on current gen consoles. And as a big fan of Tony Hawk growing up with a
Uh-huh.
PS1,
Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped for that. I'm cautiously optimistic, I will say, just because it's not NeverSoft doing it, because NeverSoft no longer exists, sadly. But um, I don't know, just seeing that it's not going to be anything beyond what you love about the old games, like sticking to like that slick gameplay and those just combos, really combo heavy, um, like mechanics.
Yep. Well,
So
I'm all right, but I say I loved Tony Hawk games back in the day, right? And I'm happy they've realized
mhm.
that all they have to do is bring us more of that. Just update a few more things, yeah, make it work better, They've got a lot more power behind, the game now because of the systems that are out. Um, but then again, I was excited about SSX being, with its comeback, and it was a dead game for me when I played it. I was just like, no, this isn't the SSX I wanted. I wanted the SSX tricky.
Yeah, didn't that new SSX try to go for like a more like realistic or like darker tone?
Yeah, it
Like
did,
remember the
and
initial reveal when it had that subtitle like Deadly Descent or something? You're just like,
yeah,
is this?
I think that was the title of it. It was like SSX
Yeah,
Deadly
they
Descent.
changed it. They changed it eventually because people just hated it, and it was just SSX because
hmm
it was just like it's like the gritty reboot of SSX. You remember how goofy these games were, right? Why is this like Tomb Raider suddenly? and
But
but
that's the thing.
yeah, I'm glad that
I
they're not
liked
doing
it
that.
because it was goofy, and then you could pull a million stunts in the air and get like 10 billion points for it. That's what I
Exactly.
liked about Tricky, and that's what I liked about SSX. And then they took all that away, and they gave what came out, which was just a game.
It just
It
yeah.
felt like a
I
mobile
think
game with
people
good graphics.
yeah, like I just forget that the new SSX happened. Like I'll go into like a GameStop and see it. I'm like, holy crap! Yeah, this did happen.
hmm
Uh, but yeah, Tony Hawk. It looks like they're not doing it today. It's from like just the screenshots. It looks and from what I'm reading, it seems pretty faithful. They're adding like online. like they're revamping the mission structure to be a little bit more deeper. Like I know they've already said that there's going to be like online and offline co-op missions, so you could play, you can jump on and play a mission together with a friend, or just do it by yourself. And you can have your own skater and like level them up and stuff. And you can even do like you can even have power ups now in the game.
Okay, there you go. It's going to be a bit zany, which is always good for games like that.
Yeah, and they're mixing it up. You know, it's not going to be a full on retread like they are adding some new stuff. I hope the soundtrack is really good because those games have always had a great record with soundtracks.
Of course.
So they got to keep that going.
Well,
They've got to.
I've still got, you know, when I say still got, I've actually rebought the music from the game. I actually went into the iTunes and went and bought each track from those games, and I've got them, and I listen to them daily, by the way.
My favorite song from the first game was that Superman song by Goldfinger. Do you remember that song? I'm not gonna sing it because I refuse to sing on this podcast. Everyone that's played the game probably knows what I'm talking about. That was my favorite song as a kid. Like when I came on the loop, I would skate 1,000 times better. Like that was my jam.
Well,
and then,
my favorite one is Camp Kill Yourself, right? So CKY as some call it. 96 Quite Bitter Beings. That song just, when I was playing the game, I was like, oh yes, and I just play the game just sometimes just to listen to that song.
Oh my god! Actually, I can't remember if it was probably wrestling first, but like one of the reasons I liked or got into Motorhead was because they had Ace of Spades in the third game, and I loved that song as a kid. I was like, oh my god, this song is so badass. Yeah. And then I remember I found out that was the same band as the Triple H theme song, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, it is.
And I hope that they keep the unlockable characters, like being able to play Spider-Man and Darth Maul, stuff like that. I hope they bring that back. Maybe you can play as the new Star Wars characters. Maybe you can be the new Sith Lord with the cross.
Well, there you go. Look, you know, again, here's another cash tip for them from Marcus. You know, that's something that would sell. You know, downloadable content, skins and stuff. You know, models, skins, and you know, there you go.
You could skateboard as a Velociraptor from Jurassic World, or as Mad Max, or as Ultron.
Okay.
I'm just giving you guys money right now. You guys can continue to scribble furiously into your notepads as I speak.
Yep, there you go.
You could literally just put the logo for Star Wars Episode 7 and like the logo itself as a character and just put on the skateboard and people will buy it.
And put Podcast Attitude in the credits.
Yeah, make sure it's in there.
And don't forget to send Marcus his royalties.
Yes.
And then with the royalties, you can buy those DLC packs.
Yeah. And I want Tony Hawk himself to hand deliver my checks to the door, like a big check, like it's a...
Oh, like on the TV shows where they...
Yeah, like he has to knock on my door with holding a Giants check saying, here's your royalties. He has to give me a skateboard, and I'll skateboard and break my neck next to him.
That's probably what would happen to me. I'll probably break my neck on a skateboard if I tried anything like that.
Yeah, I went down. Actually, the reason I don't skateboard, I tried skateboarding during the 90s, actually because of Tony Hawk, because those games were so good at making you feel so empowered because it was so right? Easy to, I mean, not easy, but it controls so well to be able to hit like an intricate combo, and like being able to do 900s and all that stuff felt so fluid that I got the impression, combine that with watching a lot of Rocket Power as a kid. If you remember that cartoon in Nickelodeon.
I didn't watch it, but no. Yeah, but I understand.
Yeah, watching a lot of that, I got in my head that skateboarding was like the easiest thing ever. So I remember I went to a place that had a half pipe, and without ever learning how to skateboard, I went down a half pipe on a skateboard. And immediately, obviously, just like fell on my ass and
but
just
I think
rolled
that
down.
happens to everyone who rides a skateboard.
Yeah, but you probably don't start on a half pipe immediately.
Oh, yeah. There must be people that do, but it's just the fact that you fall down, and if you don't feel like that was a good experience, which I don't know how you would feel that was good, but, you know, if it's not exciting for you, you just don't go back.
No, I didn't go back. I fell and looked like Peter Griffin when he falls down the stairs in Family Guy, just laying there, and then got up. And this was in front of a bunch of people, and like a bunch of kids were like legit skaters and stuff like that. And then everyone just busted out laughing. So I just kind of walked away with my head down. And then that's when I retired from
Yeah.
skateboarding forever. And I just played Tony Hawk games. That's how I got my fix.
Well, I know many a people that blew up their engines after playing Need for Speed Underground with the drag racing in it, and a lot of people that whacked the back of their cars trying to drift after playing that game because, again, as you said, because it's so arcadey, it feels like you can do anything. So you go out into your car and just destroy yourself.
Just pretend like I'm gonna intentionally piss off the cops and get into hot pursuit chases with them.
And this is no joke. I was not exaggerating, and I just didn't make that up just to have a story on the podcast. That's true. I know people that have blew up engines and actually hit the curb sideways trying to, do shit they did in Need for Speed.
We need more of that.
And or Fast and the Furious, or The Fast and the Furious, or was it just Furious, or was it just Fast? Which one was it?
Fast, Furious, Festurious. They're going to combine the two words eventually. Festurious 8.
The State. There you go.
Or maybe they'll just spell Furious backwards, and that'll be the name of the next movie. It's like, we've run out of ways to rework this title.
Oh, Fast and Furious, Fast and Furious. But yeah, anything else? We've got, I could say, about 15 more minutes we can do, because the previous episode was like 1.5 hours long, and that felt a bit too long. So if we keep this about 1 hour 10 minutes, it should be fine.
Okay, so shave off 20 minutes or whatever.
Well, if you want, we could do 5 hours. I don't mind, but I don't think anyone's going to listen to a 5-hour podcast.
This is going to be a 24-hour live stream.
Podcastathon. Podcastathon. Yeah.
We're gonna we could set a world record. I don't know who has the world record for longest podcast.
There's an idea. We could do that.
Longest single podcast.
I would totally be up for that. But as long as it's a conversational one, we can talk about anything, not just video games. Well, I could do it with video games, but
or you just hear us snoring because we fell asleep talking for hours and hours.
Okay. Have you got any other topics?
I'm just gonna ramble about video games, stuff like that.
No. Awesome. I mean for this podcast, the cover. Because I've got an not interesting, but it's something that I always get. I end up talking about with people, or get asked about. Day One DLC.
Yes.
Okay, so I used to be very pissed off about Day One DLC. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if it's on the disc and you unlock it, that's a no-no to me. But Day One DLC, apparently, it's not what you think. So we've been bitching and moaning, including myself included, about Day One DLC. Or not even Day One, it could be in the first couple of weeks or so. What it is apparently what happens is these games go, they finish the game, they send it off to get certified or whatever they do with it, and it takes a few months apparently, or whatever, and during that time they're waiting for it to be released. They start working on DLC, so they just don't waste their time, and they're still fresh on the project, which helps the people that are programming and stuff, and the artists.
It extends. Yeah, it's good for them because it gives them more work, which means they get paid more.
Yeah,
so,
and
a lot of times
a company gets DLC ready when the game's out. So when the game is out and you've already got DLC, if you're not going to be pumping out like a year's worth of DLC, like some companies do, you can send them straight onto another project instead of holding them back or paying another company or another team to be developing DLC for it.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, how you feel about that. Did you know about this? Because I didn't. I actually found out from the Kind of Funny crew, like Colin and Greg. They talk about it quite a lot. And when I heard about it, I was like, oh shit! And there was me bashing these people for, milking the cow.
No, I've known about it. I've read developers explain it in interviews in the past. It's
And
weird.
as
Day
a
one
developer
DLC is.
yourself,
I wouldn't call myself a developer. I studied game design, and I made
oh,
a game with a team, and
oh,
it's yeah.
yeah, that's
It's a
you've made
game.
one more game than I have, which I've made none. So,
The game was nothing to write home about, but I made it.
mhm.
but it's weird. Like Day One DLC, that's one of those instant just things for fans. Like it just immediately gets people enraged.
Mhm.
I've never been like upset about it, or I've never been bothered by it. I understand why people don't like it, and I totally get it. Like not even just Day One DLC, but why people don't like DLC in general. Like, oh, I'm paying for something that should just be on the disc. Back in the day, we got everything on the disc. I
No,
get it,
but that's no,
and
but
I
no, that's the thing. Again, if they're making all this game and they're cutting portions out and then selling it to you, and then by buying that you get to complete the whole experience, then yeah, fair enough. That's a no-no. But that's not the case in, well, most of the time. It's these people are giving you extra content for games that you love, and
yeah,
you know,
that's the way I look at it. It's like, hey,
very recently, Colin gave an example, which was a game that I love to play, which is Fallout. So Fallout 3 came out, and then you got like 5 or 6 DLC packs, which were actually 5 or 6 fucking games, standalone games almost. So you
yeah,
got
or like
5 new games. Yeah.
yeah,
So
like Elder Scrolls 4 with the like Shivering Isles that could have been its own game. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I said, it's never bothered me, and maybe because a lot of that is because it's an optional thing. Like they're not making you spend this extra money. It's just like,
of
hey,
course, of
here it
course.
is.
But then,
If you,
yeah.
but
But then on the other side, then if it's on the disc and you're just unlocking it, that seems a bit shallow to me.
I mean, it does. But again, like personally, it's never bugged me as much as it's bugged a lot of people. I just hasn't even like like I'll use Capcom as an example because they were probably the most um,
Infamous,
yeah, most
no
infamous.
pun intended.
Yeah, like just saying like like unlockable fighters that are just DLC but they're on disc. Like it's for me it seems more like a technicality where it's just like like where it came from, like it was already on the disc and you stuff it. It's like yeah, but it's still the same thing. Like you got to buy it and unlock it anyway. Who cares where it came from?
Yeah,
And that's just me personally. I get why people don't like that, but it just I don't know, it just doesn't bother me.
I guess again, if it's not game breaking, if you don't have to have this, again, if it's not taken away from the experience of the original game, then I guess even if it's on the disc, it doesn't really matter. It just saves you from fucking downloading it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like yeah.
And
I don't
then,
know.
and then,
Yeah, I don't get up in arms about it.
and then transitioning into pre-orders. Are pre-orders getting a bit too much lately?
I don't like pre-order, not the concept of pre-ordering itself, but pre-order like exclusives or like or even DLC where you don't know what you're getting. Where they're like, okay, if you pre-order and get the season pass, you're gonna get this stuff. You're like, well, what am I getting? There's gonna be 3 packs and they're gonna come eventually. Like he's like, so you don't know what you're getting or when you're getting it.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like that because it's like, well, you expect me to drop money on something like that? Like, who spends money on something they don't know what they're getting? Like, who does that? And so that gets annoying. Because then it's like, I want to, but tell me what it is, and I'll gladly pay. Like to go back to Mortal Kombat, they've always been really great about that. Like they were very upfront both with X and with MK9 when they announced their DLC. Like, oh, here's all the packs that we're doing, and here's exactly what each one costs, and this is exactly what's in all of them. So you're like, okay, thank you. Now I can look at this and decide if I want to spend money on this or not.
Yeah.
Like just tell me what I'm getting. Is to be more transparent about it. Don't be vague, because then it seems like you're kind of taking advantage of fans' enthusiasm for the franchise or the game. They're like, oh, well, I love Halo, I'll buy it anyway. And you're like, well, you don't even...
What gets me with pre-ordering, if it's a limited edition, a true limited, all right, then pre-order it. If you're looking to get the figurine and stuff like that, right? Because if you don't pre-order it, you're not going to get it. But now we've got all these all the digital stuff. It's not like you, even if you don't pre-order it, you know, really early on, if you pre-order it the day before it comes out, you still get to download it, or, you know, a couple of days if you haven't got good connection. You can just download it a few days before, pay for it then, which you already do. So what's the worth of committing? Like, here we go. I'll give you an example. And Battlefront is on the PlayStation Store, £64.99, and this is the Deluxe edition, by the way. You get you get all these different things: Han Solo Blaster instant access, Ion Detonator instant access, MPL Ion Torpedo instant. We don't even know what these are, right? You get exclusive emotes, 2 of them. Now we don't know what these are. You know, how will this affect the game? We don't know. So it's, you know, weird to do that. And then it says this bundle is expected to be available in 195 days. Why would I pre-order it? Why now and not 2 days before?
It's like, why not just put the date first of all? Or are you going to make me count 195 days ahead
to
see what that lands on?
It's got release date. It's got a release date. It says here 19 November 2015.
Oh, okay. I was saying, you seriously, you can't just put the date on it? Okay.
No, it's got it. Don't get me wrong, but the thing about it is, you know, what's the incentive? Why put it up this early? Is it to get a buzz, or just, you know, someone might pre-order it and then forget they've pre-ordered it, and then we just get the money from them, and they'll be like looking at their bank statement going, oh shit, I forgot to cancel that. I wasn't interested. Is that what it is? Because I think that's exactly what. Well, maybe I'm just paranoid, but that's what Netflix does. They make you sign up. They give you a free month, but you have to put in your
credit card,
right? So what happens is, as soon as that month's up, whether you're going to carry on or not, a day before, you know, that month's expired, it automatically takes the money out. And if you're not a person that digs into your statements and stuff, that could go on for months and months, and you wouldn't even remember it. And that's happened to people that I know with World of Warcraft and the Old Republic Online.
Yeah, you have to like write down when you sign up, like count like a month from now, like, okay, this is going to expire on this day. I got to remember to reconsider if I'm going to keep this or not.
Exactly.
Before it gets to this date, like as a reminder to yourself, otherwise you forget.
Yeah, but, so, you know, that, and it feels, I don't know, again, maybe I'm just digging into too much of a, you know, no one's forcing you to pre-order it, but, you know, there's no incentive of me going 195 days in, you know, or away from.
Yeah, honestly, the only reason I pre-order now, like, I highly doubt.
Physical is okay, I think, physical copies, because you might not find it in your area.
Well, that's even that. Like, when I pre-order something, I'm pre-ordering strictly to get whatever little, you know, bonus is coming with it, like a exclusive thing, and that's only if I, like, once again, I know what I'm getting. And if, you know, then I judge, like, oh, okay, I do want that, and I don't want to have to wait for that, so I'll pre-order it. But I don't pre-order out of fear of running out of copies, because that, I mean, and I'm speaking purely for me, it could be different for you or anyone else that's listening, but, like, I don't think I've ever once had a situation where, like, a game was sold out. Like, that doesn't happen. Or, like, I know the way it works, where, like, you know, a store will get a game, like, the amount of games it's kind of, like, relative to how many pre-orders they get, like the ratio of pre-ordered copies to non-pre-ordered copies. But even then, like, there's always enough. Even like some of the most highly anticipated games,
Call of Duty,
like Call of Duty or like Grand Theft Auto, there's generally always enough. Like, I'll walk in and just buy it even if I don't have it pre-ordered. Like, I get to see a game that's like a Shulk amiibo, where it's just you can't. It's impossible.
Rosalina, yeah.
Like, as much as a lot of studios and publishers try to make you think that it's going to be this hot ticket thing, that, like, if you don't pre-order it, you're going to miss the boat. It's like, no, that's not true. There's going to be plenty. Like, you're pretty much pre-ordering it just to get the extras content, which is fine.
Do you think that's what they do now? They actually do make some things, not necessarily everything, but make something scarce in order for you to say, oh, shit, you know, maybe if I don't pre-order, then I'm going to miss out.
They don't actually make it scarce as in, like, they're holding back copies, but they you could tell just in the way the messaging is with the marketing and like the way they push it on you, where they make you believe that it's going to be scarce, but it's not going to be. You know, they kind of give you that sense of urgency, like I got to get this now, or I'm going to miss the boat. And you're like, no, you really won't. They're just making you think that they will, but they're not physically actually going to make it scarce. Like they're just kind of, it's almost like a bluff.
Well, I'm a bit skeptic when it came to Rosalina because she's not all right. She's not exactly the most popular character in the Nintendo franchise. She's well known, obviously, but it's not something. If you had to pick one, you wouldn't take Rosalina over Mario, just say.
Well, for amiibos, that's a whole other story because those are hard to find, and
yeah, but
Nintendo is being accused of purposely limiting supply.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But they didn't risk. Was it calculated saying, oh, do you know what? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to want Mario because he's the most popular. Let's make shit tons of those and then just hold back on the Rosalinas, or was it, look, let's hold on to a couple of, hold back on the less popular ones, so when they do sell out, people won't be able to find them, and then they're just going to buy everything that comes out because they're not going to be able to find it for their collection.
I feel like initially, and this is just me and my speculation, but when Amiibos first came out, I always assumed that the ones that had higher quantity were for characters who were, because Amiibo's primary function is for games. Mm-hmm. Like to be used in games. So you assume that the characters that are going to be used in a bunch of games would have more. Like Mario, he needs a crap load of a supply because he's used in multiple games, and he's going to continue to be used in a bunch of games because he's Mario. But like, what would you use Wii Fit Trainer for outside of Smash Brothers? So like, there's no reason to make a crap load of Wii Fit Trainers because then otherwise they'll probably be sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and you're just like, it costs money to manufacture all those. I assume they were like, okay, we'll make this many Marths because there just aren't as many games that are going to use him as Mario, and then see how it goes. And then the popularity of it took them by surprise. Like, oh crap, everybody wants all of these. So now we have to meet this demand. And then this is where the debate comes in. Either they say, we got to make more, but they go, or let's not, and then let this, kind of take on a life of its own, and like limit supplies so that it stays popular because you can't find them and everybody wants them. It's not, obviously we don't know for sure if that's Nintendo's reasoning. This isn't the first time they've been accused of, artificially creating, supply droughts with their stuff. I mean, they've been doing that since the NES.
I just googled it, clicked on a random link, and I've got Tech Times, and the article says Nintendo says sorry for Amiibo's shortage, 5th of May, and this is 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, they just said they were gonna try to make more of the rare ones. They're gonna try to meet the supply.
Yeah, don't you think this is a bit late? I think they realised this on day one. On day one, they must have realised, right? Oh shit, we're not making.
That's what everyone's been saying and complaining about. Like, remember those Easter tweets that everyone, like with the Yoshi and Shulk, that everyone was getting upset about, and then just the most hilarious series of retweets.
Yeah, but then this isn't Nintendo's first time. Look at what they did. The Wii. It was practically, you couldn't find a Wii for about 6 months from release in the UK. I know that for a fact because...
Oh yeah, it was the same way here.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Is this their new marketing strategy? Because if it is, it's working, obviously. But
yeah, I mean, it worked with the NES. When the NES first came out, that thing was hard to find.
Well, back in the day, you could blame, factory, production. But
no, they were making them. But a lot of like retailers were accusing them of the same thing. Where like, we feel like you're purposely limiting supply.
Oh, okay.
Like, we know there's this huge demand for this thing, and you guys aren't sending enough to us. Like, it's the same exact thing that's going on in Amiibo. It's like the same accusation.
Well, again, they're notorious for this kind of these kind of problems, but they're not sorry for it. I don't think. They're probably happy because they've sold all their inventory.
Yeah, and people are talking about them.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
they should.
Hey,
they should maybe they should. They should do that with Wii U's. They should have done it with Wii U's as well.
They should have made Wii U the rarest thing in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
one Wii U per store. And now you have to. Though Wii U's are already rare, in that it's rare to find another person that actually owns one.
Well, we're a dying breed, I suppose.
Ooh, I just dissed
Yeah.
Nintendo. I'm sorry, Nintendo. I like Nintendo.
Nintendo, we love you.
We love you, but you gotta stop doing stupid stuff sometimes.
And just before we leave, they're planning to do Animal Crossing amiibo cards. Why cards for Animal Crossing? I would have thought Animal Crossing would have been the one that, the one game that everyone would have bought the amiibos for. One, they're going to look cool, obviously, and number two, it's a game about collecting things inside the game as well. So, how weird is it they're just going for cards? Is it? I don't know. Maybe it's to make it cheaper. I've got no idea, but.
Yeah, Miyamoto had an interview where he alluded to that before it was announced that they were considering doing cards because, like you said, it's just cheaper and quicker to manufacture to try to meet the demand of amiibos. Like, just make a card that has the same capability, but I think they're sort of missing the point of why people buy. Like, I highly doubt there's any people that are super amiibo collectors that are collecting them because they want to chase Toad and Captain Toad. They just want a nice little figure on their shelf. Like, that's the only reason why they're super popular.
I've got a Wii U, I've got amiibos, and I've never taken them out of the box and put them on, the NFC reader and used them ever. And I don't think I will until they actually do something with them that, attracts my attention.
Yeah, like make a game that's dedicated to them.
Mm-hmm. And do you know what isn't scarce? Podcast attitude. We're going to be back next week with another episode. Any closing thoughts or anything you want to say before we leave?
I'm looking at my Sonic amiibo that I have over there. He's like in a running pose, and
I've got that. I've got that one as well.
Yeah, that one's awesome. I need to get Mega Man.
I've got Mega Man as well. I love Mega Man.
Oh, screw you. But but yeah, while you're waiting for next week, good luck amiibo hunting. Send me a picture of the Shulk amiibo that you did not find.
And tweet it to Marcus. And what's your Twitter?
It's Marcus Stewart 7. You can send me a really insensitive tweet asking a really inane question about Xenoblade's history and just be completely oblivious to the fact that all your target audience can't find the figure that you're referencing.
Well, I'm going to tweet you after we finish this to ask you why you're Marcus Stewart 7.
It's because Marcus Stewart 1 through 6 was taken.
No way. Oh. Okay, then that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget to visit the website. And if you've got any questions to ask, send them to our emails you can find on the website in the team section. Everyone's emails are there. So we'll be waiting for your emails. Until then, goodbye.
Have a good one.